Star Wars Squadrons currently has 8 playable ships in its roster: the X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, U-Wing, TIE Fighter, TIE Bomber, TIE Interceptor, and TIE Reaper. EA.com has put out some information on each of these ships and their roles, and I think you'll probably be familiar with most, if not all of these, so today I want to take a look at this new information and specifically talk about how they look like they will play in the game. The X-Wing is the workhorse of the New Republic, a great all-rounder packing a good balance of firepower, durability, and maneuverability into its distinctive frame. This is the most versatile and easiest to handle of the New Republic starfighters, and is effective against both enemy starfighters and capital ships. This is the ideal ship for rookies, but is also well-suited to experienced pilots as it can adapt to any situation that may arise. Its maneuverability, firepower, armor, and shields are all labeled as medium. Its silhouette says it's harder to see and hit from the front or rear, but easier to see and hit from above or below. Its cockpit visibility is unobstructed forward, above, and to the sides, but restricted below and to the rear. The TIE Fighter is the standard starfighter of the Imperial Navy. It's sturdier, faster, and more agile than its New Republic X-Wing counterpart, and versatile enough to serve in multiple roles. Its speed, maneuverability, tiny silhouette, and good forward visibility give it an edge in a dogfight, while its armor and payload options make it useful against enemy capital ships as well. Its maneuverability, firepower, and armor are still classified as medium, but they should be slightly better than the X-Wing to make up for the lack of shields. Its silhouette makes it harder to see and hit from the front or rear, but easier to see and hit from the sides. Its cockpit provides excellent forward visibility, including below the horizon line, but all other directions are mostly occluded. There are small viewports in the access hatch and the aft bulkhead, but the views are limited. The X-Wing and the TIE Fighter sound like the Mario or Luigi in Mario Kart. They're balanced at everything, but not great at anything. If you're looking to just get into a cockpit and fly without having to worry about too much specialization, the X-Wing and TIE Fighter will probably be the perfect ships for that. But like the rest of this game, I'm getting the sense that they will be easy to pick up and difficult to master at a competitive level. Moving on to bombers, the heavy hitter of any New Republic squadron is the Y-Wing. It may be sluggish compared to other ships in the roster, but what it lacks in speed, it more than makes up for in stamina and firepower. While it can be formidable in a dogfight, the Y-Wing shines during assaults on capital ships, where its toughened hull, powerful shields, and devastating loadout can be the deciding factors in fleet entanglements. Its maneuverability is low, but its firepower, armor, and shields are all high. Its silhouette makes it harder to see and hit from the front or rear, but easier to see and hit from above or below. Its cockpit provides unobstructed visibility forward and to the sides, but restricted above, below, and to the rear. Likewise, the TIE Bomber is the slowest and least responsive ship in the Imperial roster, but its thick armor allows it to hang tough in a firefight against the faster ship classes. In a head-to-head joust with any other ship, the Bomber will always come out on top. As the name implies, it is primarily designed for bombing runs, particularly on large capital ships. It can weather a storm of turbolaser fire to lay down a swath of destruction across heavily armored hulls, hampering or destroying escorts and flagships alike. Similar to the Y-Wing, it has high firepower and armor with low maneuverability, but it also does not have shields. Its armor and firepower and even maneuverability are probably improved for balance. Its silhouette makes it harder to see and hit from the front or rear, and easy to hit from the sides and above. Its cockpit has excellent forward visibility, including below the horizon line, but all other directions are mostly occluded. It does sound like bombers will be able to hold their own a bit in dogfights, but only in, as EA.com describes, a joust, where ships are just flying directly at each other. Bombers will find it difficult to outfly other starfighter classes and will rely on help, but if they can get a good shot on the enemy, it sounds like they will make short work of them. The A-Wing is the New Republic's Interceptor, the fastest and most agile starfighter in their fleet. It was built for dogfighting and is most suited for tearing through enemy ties, but it can also take out turrets on capital ships to clear the way for more vulnerable allies. Its shields and hull are weak, so it can't take much damage, but its speed and maneuverability make it a difficult target to hit. Obviously, its maneuverability is classified as high, and so is its firepower against other starfighters. Its armor and shields are classified as low. Its silhouette makes it hard to hit from the front or rear, and easier to see and hit from above or below. Its cockpit visibility is unobstructed forward, above, and to the sides, but is restricted below and to the rear. The TIE Interceptor is the lightest, fastest, and most responsive starfighter in space. It can use its high acceleration and turn rates to outmaneuver an enemy fighter, evade missiles, and dodge incoming cannon fire from capital ship turrets. This maneuverability is essential because while it is the fastest, it's also the most fragile, sacrificing armor and shields for speed and agility. The TIE Interceptor is an excellent choice for taking out enemy fighters and bombers, and for strafing turrets and subsystems on capital ships. It is, however, not likely to put much of a dent in a capital ship's hull. Its maneuverability and firepower are both high, again with firepower strong specifically against starfighters. Its armor is low and it has no shield, so that's why it's classified as the fastest and most maneuverable over the A-Wing to balance things out. Its silhouette makes it harder to see and hit from the front or rear, and easier to hit from the sides. It has excellent forward visibility, including below the horizon line, but all other directions are obscured. I like that interceptors will only be strong specifically against other starfighters. Letting them dole out too much damage on a capital ship sounds like they would be too overpowered, but they will still be necessary to protect bombers and support ships during attack runs. I really like getting a sense of how a team composition might look with every fighter having its own specialization. The final ship class in Squadrons for now is the Support class. Sporting 4 massive thrusters that lend it surprising speed and mobility, the U-Wing support craft is a welcome addition to any squadron. While it's difficult to kill in a dogfight, its true value is in supporting the squadron with life-saving supplies and repairs, allowing fellow pilots to operate more effectively. The U-Wing can also disrupt enemy ships, making them easier targets for allies. It has medium maneuverability, low firepower, high armor, and high shields. Its silhouette, like all the other New Republic ships, makes it hard to see and hit from the front or rear, but easier to see and hit from above or below. Its cockpit provides unobstructed visibility forward, above, and to the sides, but is restricted below and to the rear, but there is some limited visibility below the pilot's feet. The TIE Reaper is the most unique ship in the Imperial roster. Surprisingly nimble for a ship of its bulk, it brings many advantages to a squadron and many disadvantages to its enemies. One of the few Imperial starfighters equipped with deflector shields, it trades some firepower for squadron force-multiplying abilities, reloading allies, and providing repair droids in the thick of battle. Its maneuverability is medium, its firepower is low, and its armor and shields are high. Its silhouette makes it harder to see and hit from the front or rear, and easier to see and hit from above and below. Its cockpit visibility is the same as a U-Wing's. The support ships are kind of the wild cards to me. We won't know their full potential until we see which components can be loaded into them and how they each operate. The Reaper especially seems to throw some things off because it's basically a New Republic ship in its specifications, silhouette, and cockpit visibility. But I really like the inclusion of those details about silhouettes and each individual cockpit. It sounds like there will be more strategy involved in these fights than just finding and chasing an enemy. That could waste a lot of time if you're struggling to hit a ship from behind when their wingmate can swoop in from above or the side to easily knock you out. For the most part, Imperial ships sound like they will be best attacked from their sides with their big ol' wings as targets. New Republic ships will be best attacked from the top or bottom because they've got a very flat profile. But then you've got the TIE Bomber and Reaper, which also have some length to them, so they're vulnerable from the top or bottom as well, but it'll be harder to hit the TIE Fighter or Interceptor from that angle. Engagements are going to take cooperation and coordination within squadrons. Not only that, but you'll have to prioritize protection of your bombers and support ships over the dogfighters. That said, we also know that an A-Wing or X-Wing taking on a bomber head-on is a terrible idea. There are a lot of different things to consider heading into a fight, and I love that. And that's without even thinking about what a support ship might surprise you with: turrets or ion blasts or tractor beams. I love how this game sounds like it's balanced, and the idea of having a good team composition like Overwatch or similar team-based games. Spamming bombers on a capital ship just won't work. They'll easily be picked off by a more balanced enemy squadron. You'll need protection for the bombers in the form of fighters and interceptors, and all the ships will need repairs and other support. I can't wait to experience different team compositions with various loadouts to try and perfect things. And now I'm thinking about an excerpt from Alphabet Squadron and a video I've recommended before from Space Stock about why mixed Starfighter squadrons are not good ideas. An A-wing can't fly at its full potential if it has to wait for a Y-wing. It has to circle around and try to form like a perimeter, and that's just one issue. I like the idea that now we as players will have to compensate for all of these issues on the fly. And I haven't talked much about the cockpits and how each New Republic ship seems unique, so it might be harder to adjust as you switch between them in a game, but they have better visibility to make up for that. Meanwhile, the TIE Fighter cockpits will largely be very similar, all coming off an Imperial assembly line, but their cockpits are much more focused, looking straight forward, and it's like you've got blinders on. I'm just seeing a lot of fun and creative balance within these details. Most of the information on EA.com feels very basic to read, but it's just sparking all these really fun ideas on how the gameplay could actually be very technical and competitive. And I could see fans of different factions picking up rivalries like they do in-universe. Imperial pilots tend to feel superior, partially because TIE fighters seem like they're a lot more difficult to master on the surface. I could see myself getting scared about one good enemy TIE pilot racking up kill after kill. But now I'm kind of just rambling. I just think this stuff sounds so cool and perfect for a big pilot fanboy like me. What do you guys think of all this information? Which ship are you most excited to try out? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.